welcome back to my channel. My name is Sophia, and this week we are talking about meditation and mindfulness. So for me, meditation is something I grew up with. The way a lot of kids got told to play sports, my mom told me to meditate. But like a lot of kids, I did not actually listen to my mom. I really didn't practice meditation or mindfulness the way my mom really wanted me to until I started doing yoga. I started doing yoga when I was about 18-ish in college, and I absolutely fell in love with the active meditation that is yoga. It is connecting breath to movement. And afterward, I would feel really amazing, and I knew that this was something that I wanted to continue doing. So with the help of my mom, I saved up enough money to go to India and study yoga and meditation. During the 6 weeks that I was in India, I was just in absolute bliss, this state of just zen euphoria. I wasn't drinking, I wasn't eating unhealthy, I wasn't partying, I was just in the healthiest form I've ever been in. But when I got back to the US, it's like I just completely forgot all of that. I just turned 22, so yeah, it was about 3 years ago, and I really stopped practicing yoga and I stopped practicing meditation. And it's crazy because it's one of those things that I know is good for me and it made me feel so good, but I just wasn't doing it. And I think a lot of us fall into that trap. We know what is good for us and we know what we should do, but we don't do it. Like, we know it is better to go to the gym than stay at home and watch Netflix, or we know it feels better to eat healthy but we eat junk food. For me, I know meditation would make me feel a lot better and more capable of handling my emotions, but instead I smash 5 shots of tequila. Why? Why are we so self-destructive? I do not know. But I'm hoping that through getting back to my practice of meditation and mindfulness, I'll be able to observe myself and make those changes. When I was growing up, meditation was like this very hippy-dippy, new age practice, but it's becoming a lot more mainstream now in 2020. Mindfulness is trendy. Meditation is Instagrammable. Everyone loves talking about how they meditate and it makes them feel so good. And I am definitely not an exception. I love talking about wellness, but do I actually practice what I talk about? It seems like more of us are interested in talking about meditation than actually meditating. And I noticed this because last week when I talked about building my perfect morning routine, for me, everything came a lot easier than actually meditating. This is what I'm going to focus on all week because I know the benefits and I know how great it is for me. I just actually have to do it. When I began doing my research on meditation, I knew the perfect person to ask. Of course, I went to my mom. My mom, known as Señora Cristal in the Latin community, is a leader in metaphysics, spirituality, and meditation. And she's been teaching and practicing for over 30 years. So here I have this perfect resource of information, and I was so excited to finally listen to everything she had to say.
What is meditation? Many people think that to meditate, you have to sit on the floor, cross your legs, and do the Om. And this is a big misconception. Meditation is the power of being present. Is the awareness of what is going on within you. What's happening in here. Is the ability of observe yourself and be aware of all the things that are going on within you.
Meditation isn't this idea of just sitting on a rock, with the mudra, chanting Om. It is so much more simple than that. Meditation is actually just being fully present and aware of what is going on and being able to silence yourself and be present. My mom says that the easiest way to start meditating is through practicing mindfulness. Mindfulness is an awareness of what you are doing while you are doing it. A lot of us are on autopilot mode. Like, how many times has someone been talking to you and you didn't actually hear what they were saying because you were just going through what you have to do for the rest of your day? Or like when you're eating and you're just scrolling through Instagram, or you're driving but you're not actually paying attention. That's the opposite of mindfulness. She suggests the easiest way to start practicing mindfulness is when you eat.
The advices that I give to people who wants to start meditating is when you're going to eat, pay attention to the flavors. Experience the taste of the food and observe the sensation of the meal that you're having and have a real experience. And every time that your mind goes away, try to bring it back and concentrate and focus in whatever you're doing, in the food that you're eating.
And it seems so simple that you would actually want to be present when you're eating, but a lot of us don't really pay attention. We just scarf our food down, we scroll through Instagram, we're texting, we're not in the moment. And after you've developed that mindful practice through eating, then you can explore meditation.
So if you want to start meditating, just start paying attention. Try to really engage, to listen and observe what is happening within you. What are you feeling? What are you thinking in that moment? You will learn observing yourself, observing what is distracting you from living the moment. And then, little by little, you bring your mind back to the present moment.
Taking those 5 to 10 minutes to sit down or lay down, however you feel comfortable, and just inhale, exhale. If a thought comes up, observe it, let it go, and just keep coming back to the breath.
Even when I meditate daily for years, sometimes my mind gets distracted and goes away. So a silly way to bring it back, I do to my mind, shh, silence. This is a quiet zone. So, and then my mind gets busy again and another thought comes and I do the same thing. Shh, silence. This is a quiet zone. And you keep doing it until your mind finally surrenders. And once you start doing it, you'll see that you don't need anything, that it takes just a few seconds to connect within you, to observe within you, and to control your busy mind.
Personally, I find it really hard to just sit in silence. I think my brain is constantly going at 100 miles per hour and I'm frantic and I'm all over the place. So for me, I really like guided meditation. And guided meditation is exactly what it sounds like. It is just someone guiding you through a meditation. And you can find it on YouTube or podcasts or just audio recordings all over. I'm a really big fan of the meditation podcast. I usually use their podcasts for the one they have going to sleep, and it always knocks me out. I like their podcasts because they use binaural beats, and binaural beats I am reading directly from their website, so I get it right. Binaural beats enhance theta brainwaves in the listener, and the theta state, similar to REM dreaming, makes the body and mind more receptive to healing, cellular regeneration, and learning, and tends to instill a sense of peace in the listener. When isolated to the left and right ears, the brain tries to reconcile these slightly different tones, creating a relaxed trance-like state. So they basically get you really peaceful, really zen, and I'm a big fan of any kind of audio technology that does a little bit of work for me. I do suggest checking them out. I'm linking them down here so you can go through their meditations. Generally, I have been really bad about sticking to my guided meditations. So I want to make sure that I'm doing that every Monday just to restart my week with a fresh setting. Yesterday, I did their energy boost meditation because I had a really hard week of celebrating my birthday last week. So it was a really good way to just hit that reset and start over this week. I was always curious about what the actual science behind meditation was. So I kept on researching and I found this really great video from the Aspen Institute where the interviewer asked the same question as I do. Essentially, she says, reducing anxiety, depression, increasing well-being, sleep, all of these things are claimed for meditation. What is the science? How do we know these things are actually happening? Bob Roth, the executive director of the David Lynch Foundation, goes into this really in-depth answer to that question. So I'm going to try and break it down for you guys with Sophia notes. Essentially, in the front part of our brain, we have the frontal lobes, and he calls this the CEO of the brain. And it's in charge of decision-making, judgment, sense of self, and creativity. And towards the back of the brain, we have the amygdala, and that is what we would know as the fight or flight center of the brain. So when we are dealing with all the chronic stress in our life, our amygdala goes into panic mode, and it doesn't allow the neuron pathways to connect freely between the amygdala to the frontal lobe. So it impairs our judgment. It keeps us from thinking clearly. It keeps us from being relaxed because we're in this panic mode of, are we gonna fight? Are we gonna flight? What are we gonna do? And it's not working. The two pieces are not in conjunction. So what they've noticed is when they did MRIs of people who are meditating, they saw in the left part of the frontal lobe that the gray matter was growing. That means that meditation is helping your brain develop the tissue that helps it work better, helps it create positivity. Meditation is scientifically proven to help your brain develop the ability to be positive and take control of your emotions. And it's kind of like, you know what your parents are telling you is true, but when somebody else tells it to you, you're like, wow, yes, I should have been listening all along. It got me really excited and really curious about all the ways that meditation can positively impact your life. My goal for the week was to delve into developing a meditation practice, but what I actually really found myself exploring was, why don't we do the things that we know are good for us? Why are we constantly avoiding what we know is good for us to instead reach this instant gratification? And I think that is what I've been grappling with since the inception of this blog, of this channel. I'm trying to understand my own behaviors and my bad habits. And I'm hoping that through my meditation practice and mindfulness, I can begin to understand why I do the things I do and make changes. Step one is being mindful enough to recognize the things that you want to change. And step two is being capable of meditating and letting those behaviors and letting that which doesn't serve us go. As I am stepping into my adulthood, leaving behind this quarter life crisis, I'm realizing that I don't want to conform to the status quo of adults who just live in a state of constant stress, in a state of constant anxiety. I don't want to coast through autopilot. I really think that meditation is a vehicle that can let you take control of yourself and of your emotions and help you with all of those stressful things that come into your life, because it does bring you directly into the moment. Last week, my goal was to stop checking social media as soon as I woke up, and I'm really glad. And I'm really more so proud that I was able to get through last week without instantly jumping on social media. But this week, it is that goal of meditation and mindfulness. And I'm not saying that it's going to be easy, because you actually have to do the work. But I do think that when I get through the end of the week and I have done my 5 to 10 minutes of meditation every morning, that I know there will be a difference. I know the benefit will outweigh the work of having to sit still for 5 to 10 minutes. You don't have to sit on a rock for 30 minutes to meditate, but you do have to be willing to take those 5 to 10 minutes to sit in silence. It is a practice, and it only grows if you put in the work. And as January comes to an end, I realized the overall theme throughout the month was putting in the work, honoring your commitments with yourself. So I feel really grateful that I made the commitment with my 4 videos and that I have stuck to you guys and creating the content I said I would, but I know that no one is going to hold me accountable except for myself. So, you have to show up for yourself. You have to be willing to honor your commitments and to do the things you say you'll do, because it's for you. I want to thank you all for subscribing, for watching, for being really supportive as I enter this new project. Next month, we are talking about relationships. It is February. February is the month of love. So I thought it would be appropriate to talk about relationships with boyfriends and girlfriends, relationships with your friends, etc. So please subscribe for those of you who are watching for the first time. If you enjoyed this, share, give it a thumbs up, etc., etc. You know all the things. You can follow me on Instagram at Sophia Eats Pizza, and I'll see you guys next week. Thanks, guys.